The other thing that you have to know is this whole idea of redemption, it's actually the gospel. This is what totally turned the first century upside down. This is what's gone all around the world today. This is what's changed many of your lives and my life, right? That Jesus came and he paid a debt. He paid a debt that I couldn't pay back to God, that you couldn't pay back to God. And you think, that's kind of weird. I mean, I don't understand the system of a debt that couldn't be paid back. I mean, I don't really get that. Well, think about it. You do understand this. Think about in your own relationships. There is time that you can't pay back, right? You're in your second marriage and you can't go back to that first marriage and do things differently, although sometimes you wish you could. You can't go back and now you're in your 30s and go back to your teenage years and give your parents who were good parents a peaceful, unity, loving kind of relationship and a good son the way they deserved. But you were a rebel, you were a hellion, you'd love to go back, but you just can't do it. And in your marriage, you wish there were things that you could bring back, but you cannot go back into the past. And there are debts relationally that you can't pay back, and I can't pay back. And it's the same way with an infinite God. We can never pay back the debt. And so what happens is the word picture that Paul has here is a second image, and that is of a courtroom. And so it's like Jesus and God the Father stands in the courtroom and says, you know what? You debtor, we're going to release you from responsibility. Redemption is releasing you, forgiving you for anything that you were supposed to pay God in terms of debt as being a lawbreaker to him. And it's like God says, you're forgiven. God's the judge, and God is the one who releases you. And so this is a very transactional word, this word of redemption. Okay? And so you have to understand, it's the transaction of being released. You owe the court, and the court has released you. I owe you, you owe me, those kinds of ideas. It's very transactional, it's very judicial, it's very legal. And so you say, well, that's interesting. That's a good theological concept. I mean, does it go any deeper than that? And Paul says, absolutely. I'm just getting warmed up for the real message I want to share with you about what Christmas and Jesus coming to the world is all about.